Some nights, the silence where her laughter used to echo is so loud it keeps Thomas Bennett awake until dawn. Every morning begins the same way. He reaches across the bed and feels nothing but cold sheets. 6 months have passed since Sarah died, but it still feels like yesterday. The pain hasn't faded. It's burrowed itself into every corner of their farmhouse, haunting each room like a ghost he can't evict. Two young children, Emma, 8, and Jake, 5, depend on a man who's barely holding himself together. The medical bills from her long fight with cancer have drained every cent. The farm, once a place of life and rhythm, is falling apart piece by piece. And the world hasn't stopped spinning just because his did. The alarm still buzzes at 5:30. The cows still need to be milked. The debt collectors still call. And as the Nebraska winds cut through the thin kitchen window each morning, Thomas wonders if there's a way out of this downward spiral. Then out of nowhere comes a letter from a law firm. Sarah's uncle, Harold Whitfield, a man he barely knew, has passed away. He's left Thomas his entire estate, a crumbling farm no one has worked in decades with a mountain of back taxes attached. Everyone in town says it's worthless, just another weight on a man already crushed by life. But what no one knows, not even Thomas yet, is that beneath those fields lies a secret that's been buried for over a century. A secret worth $43 million, and a fight that will decide whether a single father saves his children's future or loses everything. Every morning is survival. The alarm buzzes. Thomas sits on the edge of his bed, rubbing calloused hands through hair that's grayed too fast. He walks past Sarah's old recipe box, a little blue box with fading paint that still carries the warmth of her cooking. Emma stands in the hallway, tousled hair and solemn eyes that carry too much weight for an 8-year-old. "Daddy, Jake wet the bed again." She says it softly, like she's protecting him from breaking further. Thomas forces a smile and moves through the motions, changing sheets, packing lunches, dropping them at school in a rusty truck with one working headlight. The road to town winds through empty cornfields, and every mile feels like a reminder of everything he's losing. Once this farm sustained 3 generations. Now it's barely keeping the lights on. He's 3 months behind on the mortgage, 2 on the equipment loan. The bank is circling like a hawk. Selling land could save them, but it would also mean breaking the promise he made to Sarah on her last night, to keep this land for Emma and Jake. The world doesn't wait for grief to heal. Thomas feeds cows with feed he can't afford, repairs old machinery with borrowed tools, and prays for a miracle that doesn't come. What he doesn't know is that the miracle is already written in stone under a thick limestone slab, just 30 miles north on a forgotten farm. When Thomas drives up the long gravel road to Harold Whitfield's farm, the sight nearly breaks him. The white house leans to one side, shutters hanging, paint peeled. The barn looks like it might collapse at the next strong wind. The garden is buried beneath years of weeds. This isn't an inheritance, it's a graveyard of dreams. But Harold left a letter too short, cryptic, and deliberate. Look beneath the surface. Some things worth keeping are hidden from those who only look at land. In the overgrown yard, Thomas finds the well. Not just any well, a massive stone structure with intricate carvings etched deep into the limestone cover. The symbols don't belong to any farm he's ever seen. It feels ancient, intentional. The air around it is still. He doesn't know what it means yet, but something about this place whispers that Harold wasn't just some eccentric farmer. He was a keeper of something, and this land is a doorway. The next morning, with tools in hand and his neighbor Pete at his side, Thomas pries open the limestone cover. The weight is brutal, but what's beneath steals the air from his lungs. A spiral stone staircase leads down, not to water, but to a hidden chamber. Step by step, the two men descend into the cool darkness. The walls are crafted with precision, limestone fitted like a crypt from another time. A brass key from Harold's letter fits a lock hidden in the carvings. A wall clicks open, and there it is. Treasure, real, breathtaking, shimmering treasure. Wooden crates lined with gold coins, silver, antique jewelry, documents wrapped in oiled cloth, heirlooms untouched for over a century. It's a $43 million time capsule buried in plain sight. But it's more than wealth. It's history. This was an underground railroad station. Harold and his ancestors preserved the belongings of families fleeing slavery, safeguarding them for generations. As Thomas's flashlight sweeps across the chamber, he feels the weight of something far bigger than money. Harold didn't leave him a farm. He left him a legacy. In TH. The treasure room, Thomas finds something far more personal than gold. A letter dated 3 months before Sarah died. It's her handwriting. She knew about the chamber, the treasure, and the legacy long before she got sick. This isn't just wealth, she writes. These are the dreams of people who trusted our family to keep them safe. If you're reading this, it means it's your turn to protect them. Take what you need for the kids, but guard this place with your life. It's more than treasure, it's history. The words crush and comfort him at once. Sarah wasn't just his wife, she was part of something far greater. Every moment he thought she was just at the farm, she was guarding a story buried in the earth. The treasure doesn't just belong to Thomas. It belongs to 100 forgotten families, and now it belongs to his children's future. But news like this never stays buried for long. A black SUV pulls up one gray November morning. 2 men in expensive suits, smiles too polished to be honest. "Mr. Bennett, we represent Blackwood Development," they say. "We'd like to offer you $3.7 million in cash for this property." Their tone isn't polite, it's calculated. When he refuses, things escalate fast. Strangers start asking the neighbors questions about his kids. Child Services inspectors show up uninvited. He finds out Sarah had been working with federal investigators against Blackwood before she died. This isn't a random development company. They're part of a criminal network that's been stealing artifacts from hidden historical sites for years. And now, Thomas stands in their way. What they want isn't the farm, it's the treasure under it, and they're willing to do anything to get it. Thomas does what Sarah would have done. He calls the FBI. He hands over Harold's letters, Sarah's journal, and evidence she'd secretly been gathering for years. Federal agents and historians arrive quietly, securing the site before Blackwood can make their move. What follows is a storm behind the scenes: warrants, investigations, arrests. Blackwood's empire begins to crumble, but for Thomas, the war isn't just legal, it's personal. He rebuilds the farmhouse, fortifies the property, and stands his ground like the generations before him. Emma and Jake watch their father transform from a man drowning in grief to the man their mother always believed he could be. For the first time in months, the farm feels alive again, not because of the money buried beneath it, but because of the purpose it carries. Winter covers the farm in snow, sealing the well like a secret only the right hearts will ever know. The treasure is documented, protected, and preserved, not sold. Historians will tell its story. Federal law will shield it from thieves, and Emma and Jake will grow up knowing their mother's courage and their father's fight turned a dying farm into a living legacy. Standing at the porch, Thomas watches them play, their laughter echoing through the cold air. It's not the sound of silence anymore. It's the sound of hope. He doesn't feel the weight of the world pressing down now. He feels Sarah beside him, proud as if she never left. And to everyone listening right now, remember this. Some treasures are too priceless to sell. Some legacies are worth every battle. Backhand index pointing right if this story moved you. Make sure to subscribe. Hit that notification bell and tell us where you're listening from. Because tomorrow we'll bring you another story you won't forget.